Now, I was talking to Angela Rippon the other day, who did a fantastic series about being a bit healthier and living longer and all the rest of it. And I was watching her show on telly, and there was this one bit where she went and had an MRI scan and discovered all this fat around her heart. And she has to take these pills, otherwise she had to eat sort of giant amounts of lentils. Really, sort of one of those things.
Who want to do that?
I love a lentil. But nevertheless, I mean, when I talk about giant amounts, really you couldn't have got through them. And so do you want to talk about... And she is a very healthy woman. She plays tennis, she doesn't drink too much, she sort of eats healthily and all the rest of it. She does a lot of yoga and what have you. And we're now going to talk about heart health, because it is National Heart Month, and there are many different heart conditions and problems related to the heart and circulation. For example, you've got angina, you've got abnormal heart rhythms, atrial fibrillation, congenital heart disease, that sort of thing. Well, Lavina Mehta is a personal trainer and wellness coach. Lavina, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, first of all, how can anyone measure their... obviously, as I was talking about this, Angela Rippon, she had an MRI scan. But apart from that, it would be very difficult to know how healthy your heart is, wouldn't it?
There are measurements. There are ways we can see in terms of fitness testing. You can look at how quick you're recovering from exercise. But like you say, internally, you would probably need a scan just to really check out those arteries and see what's going on.
Right. So when you say about how well we do, how your pulse rate comes down, it's essentially that's it. You're talking about pulse rate coming down after doing exercise. Is there any way that we can do that without, I don't know, without having to have some kind of testing kit?
Yes, you don't always even have to have one of those fitness trackers on your wrist. You can look at your resting heart rate. So anyone can take their pulse at rest. So when you're waking up first thing in the morning, you could just check your pulse by putting it just below your thumb, underneath on your wrist. So by checking your resting heart rate, then there's a calculation. To keep it simple, it's basically 220 minus your age would be your maximum heart rate. And
220 minus your age, right? Mm-hmm.
So that's the sort of peak level. If I was training someone in a class, I would be sort of asking them to sort of check if they've got a tracker on, where they are, and then we can measure zones of different heart rates. So whether we're targeting aerobic heart rate zone or an anaerobic heart rate zone, which is even higher. It's where you're actually really uncomfortable. You can't speak so well. If I asked you to sing a song, that wouldn't be possible. And the aerobic training zone is called sort of the fat burning zone. And that's where you could hold a conversation. You're slightly out of breath. You're slightly getting a bit warmer. And you could probably sing a song if I asked you to. But like we're saying, with these sort of calculations, you can then sort of start gauging if you were to take your heart rate again after some intense exercise, and you would have to monitor how quickly your heart rate comes back to that rest position.
And then what would be a bad sign, for example?
I guess there's no real bad sign. Everyone's bodies are so different. You would obviously start seeing some trends if your heart rate wasn't recovering very quickly. I think one of the things that I thought of when I was going to come and talk to you about some of the tips that I'm proposing was that even though I'm fit, the other day I was actually climbing a set of stairs and I got quite out of breath. And even though I do a lot of exercising, I was thinking about just the average person. And sometimes these little things are little sort of signs that your body's sort of saying, okay, maybe I need to do a little bit more aerobic exercise just to get my heart pumping and working a little bit stronger. So I would say if you've got one of those fitness trackers, keep it on and start looking at your averages. Don't get too bogged down in detail, but I would say the exercise and the things that I'm going to talk about are some very simple ways, and there's been a lot of research on how you can reduce your risk of heart disease through exercise, how we can get the heart stronger, how you can help pump more oxygen with each heartbeat, your cardiac output, and how that oxygen will then help your body to function more efficiently.
Morning, it's Rhea here.
Hi, Rhea.
On that point, is heart health linked to exercise alone?
No, I would say a lot of lifestyle factors. So everything from exercise to eating healthier. Obviously, there's going to be some, if you've got medical conditions genetically in the family. So exercise, though, is a fantastic free tool, a very powerful tool that can definitely make your heart feel better. So I want people to start viewing exercise as a treat for your heart, especially this National Heart Month.
Right. So tell us about the things that people can do without having any money involved in it.
Yes, things that are free. We always like something free. So I would say we want to start off small. So the government guidelines are to actually try and hit 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise. That's about 2.5 hours per week. It does sound huge, so I'm going to make it much easier than that. And that's also combined with strength or resistance training. So you want to try and get 2 to 3 sessions of resistance training in the week also. So that is the government guideline for optimum health. That's going to put you in a great position to try and prevent a lot of the chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease. So that's what we're really focusing on today.
And what does resistance training? What does that actually mean? So, say for example, there I am. I'm in my home. I'm looking around for something to do, and I think, oh, I need a bit of resistance training. What do I do?
So anything to start off with, I would say start off with your body weight. So you're still using your body as a weight. So a simple thing in the house while you're boiling the kettle could be to do some squats. So you could either get a chair and try and sit down and get back up, the basic squat. You could do some press-ups against the wall. So that's a very easy way of doing body weight exercises. You could do some lunges. There's some big moves. I'm talking about the big compound moves, which means that you're targeting lots of muscles and then you're going to get lots of benefits, not just heart health, but obviously losing weight, which is one of the big drivers for exercise as well. So resistance training is anything starting off with your body weight, and then you would, once you get confident, start adding in some weight. So either using some dumbbells, but if you don't have access to a gym, I also promote using things like bottles and tins. Obviously, health and safety hat on there, but any sort of weight that you can safely hold in your hands, you can also do some of these basic exercises with, just to get you moving. So it's even things like yoga are actually resistance training because you're carrying your body weight.
In recent months, there's been lots of focus on celebrating the diversity of body types. Is that something you welcome, bearing in mind that if you are heavier, by the sounds of it, you're putting more pressure on your heart?
I would say that regardless of body type, I think everyone needs to start moving. There is a stat that I think 41% of middle-aged adults, so that's between 40 and 60 years old, are doing less than 10 minutes of brisk walking a month. So I want people to, obviously I've targeted about 150 minutes, but I'm trying to break it down, and I'm promoting a concept called exercise snacking. So it's small, bite-sized, so small bouts of exercise are going to be easier for people to try and fit into their lifestyle, and then eventually, in the long term, build up to the 150 minutes government guideline. So even if you're larger, walking is free. It's something that you can start off at your own pace and start building up. And I've been promoting something called my Feel Good to go with my brand at Feel Good with Lavina, a Feel Good walk. So just 10 minutes of walking at a brisk pace, so where I was saying that you're feeling slightly out of breath and getting a little bit warm, that can reduce your risk of early death by 15%. So if you do that consistently, and they're also saying that 30 minutes a day, so that would be the ideal number that you would walk, say 5 times a week to try and hit the 150 minutes. That can reduce your risk of heart disease, stroke and diabetes by up to 30 to 40% and increase your life expectancy by up to 3 years. So walking is a great one regardless of your size. I would also say in terms of aerobic exercise, so this is one of the things I really want to promote this month, is something called a stair snack. So there was a piece of research done in 2019 where they did 3 flights of stairs 3 times a day, so say morning, lunchtime and evening, 3 days a week for 6 weeks. And the people that took part in this actually came out at 6 weeks later 5% fitter. They were stronger, they had more power, and it definitely improved their cardiovascular health.
So there we go. Walk up steps whenever you see them rather than escalators or whatever. Lavina, we are going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much for talking to us this morning. That's Lavina Mehta, and if you want to go and have a look at that, it's Feel Good with Lavina, and she's a personal trainer and wellness coach. The time is 7:42. We'll take a quick break.
Online.